Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas. Welcome to This Week with Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh. Doctor, welcome. Namaste.
Namaskar, namaste.
So, Doctor, as we have heard about Prime Minister Narendra Modi visiting certain countries and winning hearts of leaders and people alike, that has happened again with his with his limited 65-hour trip to 3 European nations. And talk to me about how you felt him addressing people in Germany and his interaction with his counterparts there.
I think this shows that now our Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi is a world leader, and India is a world one of the very important economically, socially, culturally important country, and that's why even this week I think Prime Minister was invited as a guest to G7 meeting. That shows the importance of India, and really we are very proud of Prime Minister and all his leadership and all his and all the progress we have done, India has done under his leadership. And so kudos to the Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi. And this kind of meeting with the Germany, Denmark and France, right? It's very important because Germany is a very important country in the Western Europe. France is, we have relation with the France because France is supplying us a lot of jets, fighter jets, and Denmark is very important for trade and business transaction. So I think all the three countries are really very important for India's economy and India's development.
Absolutely, and there were some important agreements between two nations which were signed. And as he reached Denmark, breaking all the protocols, Prime Minister of Denmark herself was present to receive Prime Minister Modi. And if you have seen visuals of the chemistry between this 44-year-old young Danish Denmark's Prime Minister and Prime Minister Modi, that also speaks volumes about Prime Minister Modi's ability to connect, relate, and
of course,
impress.
of course. I mean, we all know that our Prime Minister is very great communicators, great orator, and great and very loving person, very personable, and he can win anyone's heart and mind, and so I think that's the best quality our Prime Minister has.
Absolutely, and with you, I recollect he gifted a painting to Prime Minister of Denmark while she visited India, and she took him to her house, showed the whole house, and the painting was also on the wall in her living room. So, in the light of what is happening between Russia and Ukraine, this meeting with European countries by Prime Minister acquires additional significance. What do you read between the statements of these leaders after?
Well, I think what Prime Minister is saying that this visit helps India and Western Europe to patch up and explain to the European countries why India being a neutral in this Ukraine-Russia war because of good reason. And I think it's India's interest to be neutral, and this is an opportunity to explain to the Western world that what we did, why we did, and so forth.
Absolutely. And now, considering the way Prime Minister addressed, and he said, I bring to you greetings from all 135 crore Indians, and there was a wonderful chemistry with the audience which are of Indian origin in Germany, and I bring the reference of he's considering a collective voice of the nation, and he talked about India's development. But now you look back after in several states there have been some internal disturbing events, and recently in Patiala, pro-Khalistani slogans as well as attack on a Hindu temple, and there was some clash between Shiv Sena people and pro-Khalistani people, etc. How do you see these developments, and with the arrival of Aam Aadmi Party at the helm of affairs in Punjab, do you see things improving in the right direction?
Well, I think it's very unfortunate what happened in Punjab. I think some mischievous forces instigated the whole thing, and hopefully Aam Aadmi Party administration should be able to maintain the calm and peace in the Punjab, because Punjab is a very important state for the India, and because it's a border state, and not only that, but it's a kind of food basket of the India, and therefore I think AAP Aadmi or AAP administration has very much a responsibility to make sure that Punjab remains calm, quiet, and more productive.
And in the same context, as we come right near the neighboring state to New York, Connecticut, they officially recognized 29th April, declared that to be anniversary of the declaration of Sikh independence. So there is a clear-cut support for pro-Khalistani forces, which is quite unfortunate, and looks like there is a lack of efforts on the part of Indian community in general as well as Indian government at large in being able to help Connecticut administration see the real picture.
Well, we all Indian Americans and those who are with us should condemn very strongly the citation which was given to the Khalistani Sikhs, or praising the celebration of the 36th
Declaration of Sikh independence.
Sikh independence. It should be condemned 100%. And our newspaper, Desi Talk, we have written a very front page article saying that India and all the Indian Americans and all the people who loves the democracy condemns this Connecticut Assembly citation, and we all should oppose it, and we should try to educate the Connecticut assemblymen and women that what is right and what is wrong in this thing, and so hopefully we'll able to educate them, and our community should galvanize them itself and oppose this citation and make sure that such citation never happens again, because Khalistan is kind of considered to be one of the terrorist organization and anti-India organization.
Plus, it also is a direct attack on India's integrity, and a sovereign nation is not being respected by Connecticut in this fashion. Yeah.
That's why it should be condemned, because this is wrong, absolutely uncalled for, and is absolutely should be condemned in absolute terms.
Absolutely. And now, again, looking at two different sides. On the one hand, you have visuals coming through news media where Prime Minister Modi is greeted, and even young kids are all excited to receive him, and there is a special bonhomie. And on the other hand, as we recently saw what happened with Ram Navami Shobha Yatras in my hometown, Jodhpur, on the eve of Eid, some miscreants at the central square disrespected the statue of a freedom fighter, Bal Mukund Bissa. They painted it black, and they also had different flags. And the second day also it resulted into a lot of tents, which has made administration impose 144. Now, talk to me about, is it simmering somewhere that in many places in India we are seeing these kind of eruptions, and in particular Rajasthan has always been a peaceful overall?
You are right. I think whatever is happening in a small fragmented area of throughout the country, whether it's hijab, or it is about Ram Navami, or it is about loudspeaker. All this thing is completely waste of time and energy for the people of India. I think they should concentrate more on harmony, education, economics, and progress in the life.
They should, but that is not happening, and it further leads to a kind of a blame game between political parties. So in Rajasthan, it is Congress-ruled government, and they start quickly blaming BJP, and BJP, of course, blames. But somewhere in this blame game, the real reason is not addressed. Do you see it that way? It is further escalating it rather than.
Of course, really responsible leaders of all the party should address this underlying reason for all this unrest, and also the state government law and order should be maintained very strictly. So none of this kind of events or this kind of clashes should happen, and therefore I think government of the day in every state is responsible for the law and order in their state, and so they should do that. And even the leaders in the community make sure that this kind of fringe elements should not make such mischief and unnecessary disturbance in the community.
And what is another kind of dissatisfaction generating feeling that people from both sides have is that there is a filtered way of imposing law and order. So they say that sometimes police don't act, and maybe politicians have something to do with. But now let's talk briefly about what is happening in Maharashtra. So Raj Thakre, another member of Thakre family, is speaking very forcefully, and again questioning the loudspeaker used for azan, which again in continuation with the Supreme Court order. But he says if they don't remove, then we will have loudspeakers with Hanuman Chalisa. So it is not. It is directly like a confrontational way of dealing with a problem. How do you see this? But he is also garnering a lot of support.
I think personally I condemn that kind of approach, because see, all these politicians or political parties, those who are out of favor, and in Bombay the BMC, Bombay Corporation's election is coming very shortly, and therefore they all are posturing themselves to make themselves relevant in the election. That's one reason. And number two, all this thing can be resolved by following the Supreme Court verdict. So what Supreme Court says that the loudspeaker has to have permit, then has to have certain decibel. It means it cannot be louder than allowed decibel. So if state can impose this kind of regulations, Supreme Court regulations, then I think this kind of thing should not happen. And because this can lead to, it's a slippery slope. It can lead to the unnecessary community
Violence,
unrest, violence, and it maybe end up in kind of hullad. I mean,
people may lose their lives. That
and people can lose their life.
Yeah. What you said, both points have their own merit. But Dr. Saab, state government is not proactively or even not even showing its willingness to impose or to follow through the Supreme Court order, and that gives space for this kind of voice. But moving forward, of course, we want peace to be there, and as we move towards the concluding part of our conversation, let's go to White House. And there was the annual feature where they have some
roasting
happening, etc. You must have
yes,
witnessed this.
yes.
Your impressions about the way?
I think it's actually that event happens every year to recognize certain individuals in the journalist world. It means those who are who is the best writer or best journalist, or who did the best story, who has done the best short documentary on news or in journalism, and that's why that dinner is. But then that dinner always is attended by president of the country, and they made it little more humorous and more witty, and therefore it's really a great dinner. And every year I always make sure that I watch it, because I always enjoy, because all the jokes and roasting is very innocent and very and just for fun, and it's a humorous. So I think it's a great way to make yourself laugh and enjoy the country.
So loosening up in democracy is demonstrated by this. And as we conclude, your parting remarks from today's show.
Well, dear friends, so now pandemic is over. We are entering the endemic. All the CDC has taken away all the regulations except indoor gathering where you are requested to wear the mask, but otherwise there is no need to wear mask. I'm sure 80% are vaccinated and boosted, and those who are not, please do so, and please make sure that your children gets vaccinated. That way we can put this COVID pandemic behind us, and we can enjoy the normal life. We can we can really enjoy the quality of the life, and we make the economy more powerful. God bless America. God bless India. God bless Indian American. Goodbye, and see you next week. Till then, God bless you. Thank you.